to Last Man Standing. My name is Trent, and Cody Rhodes is hurt. And what does that mean? Now, I know we're kind of late to the party, considering Cody Rhodes got injured on Sunday, and as of the time of filming this, it's now Wednesday. Sorry about that. We're not exactly punctual around these parts. But yeah, this past Sunday at Hell in a Cell, Cody Rhodes suffered a majorly torn pectoral muscle. He still wrestled his match with Seth Rollins, resulting in quite possibly one of the best Hell in a Cell matches we've seen in recent time, where it actually felt brutal and gruesome and hard to watch. And then he went off television the following night on Raw. He got written out by being attacked by Seth Rollins, and now everyone is scrambling to see what's going to happen next. And by everyone, I mean everybody in the WWE creative department. Because I don't think they could have predicted that Cody was going to miss so much action, literally not even 3 months after his return. But first things first, Cody, get better soon. We will miss you. Have a speedy recovery so you can return and win the Royal Rumble at the very least. However, I just gotta say that WWE has done a great job of booking Cody Rhodes ever since his return to the company. It's like if they took Triple H during his peak Reign of Terror phase, where he was constantly defeating his opponents and just squeezing their momentum out of them until they were no longer eligible to compete for the world title, and then all of a sudden he walked away from WWE, joined another promotion, and then started slowly redeeming himself. That's exactly what happened. Cody Rhodes went from being the guy no one wanted to win in AEW to the guy that everyone wants to see win in WWE. So they definitely done a good job of, restoring Cody's kind of, motivation and basically making him a must-see attraction in wrestling. I think it helped that they kind of kept his presentation in AEW pretty much untouched from the moment he left All Elite Wrestling back to wrestling entertainment. However, now that he is gone for like 6 months, it's gonna throw a huge wrench in plans, because what's gonna happen now that the biggest star on Raw is no longer there and can't be a potential world title challenger? So it seems as though WWE is kind of like booking themselves into a corner, but unlike most times where they book themselves into a corner and it works out, I think their answers have been kind of skewed at best, but we'll get to that in a second. So with Cody out of action, and, with it now being strongly rumored he's going to win the Royal Rumble, a lot of people are wondering, what does this mean for the original plans? Apparently Cody Rhodes was supposed to win Money in the Bank, is what it looked like. He was all over the promotional material. He even talked about the match and promoted it, but now that he's gone, what does that mean for, everything else? So let's take a look at the potential names that could potentially be built up to face Roman Reigns. Let's take a look at the, safe bets, your Randy Ortons, your AJ Styles, Finn Balor's, Bobby Lashley, people like that. Edge, who recently just turned babyface, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. All of them could be potential world title contenders. However, I don't think any of them have the momentum right now to challenge Roman Reigns. And guys like AJ Styles and Randy Orton deserve at least one last world title reign before retiring, and Bobby Lashley made it a point to hold up the WWE Championship, at least a replica, at Hell in a Cell to kind of let Roman Reigns know that he's going to challenge him, only for WWE to retcon that, saying, no, Bobby Lashley wants a US title match against Austin Theory, which makes no damn sense, but hey, that's the world we live in, I guess, because I guess we can't just go with the easy, simple booking. It's always got to be overcomplicated. Wrestling's not that hard, Vince. Wrestling is not that hard. But it seems as though the company made a weird decision, because last Monday on Raw, at least at the time of this recording, Edge got kicked out of Judgment Day, the stable he helped build, for apparently being a weak link. Like, it was really weird the way they handled it. Cody went out, and instead of putting their stock into another superstar who could be the next big face of Raw, they instead went with putting Edge back into babyface territory. I get that, creative plans have been thrown out the window, and now you gotta kind of improvise things, but to do it the way they did was very confusing. First of all, if Finn Balor was going to join Judgment Day, he really should have done so at Hell in a Cell and cost AJ Styles and Liv Morgan the match. Instead, the way they kind of handled it was very sloppily kind of put together, where he comes out the following night and was like, oh, I just want you guys to stop beating me up. I never understood that mentality of the guy who gets beaten up for months joins the faction without really good reason to do so. He didn't really have a lot of motivation to join Judgment Day outside the fact that, look, I'm getting really tired of you guys beating me up. Can we please squash our beef, please? But the way they kicked Edge out didn't make any sense, because he didn't really do anything that hampered the group's potential. He's actually kind of helped them grow a little bit. So the way they kind of handled that was weird. And maybe it's to set up Edge possibly winning Money in the Bank? Who knows? I mean, he would be the first person to have the contract 3 times in a row. But are they going to give another world title reign to Edge? I mean, I think he should probably hold the belt at least one last time before he, retires officially. But, it's something that you just can't really count on because, right now they're booking Roman Reigns to be this unstoppable force who apparently needs help to win his matches, though. And he's kind of steamrolled over everybody I've just listed off. Now, let's take a look at the names that he hasn't really had a chance to face, like Gunther, who is getting an Intercontinental Championship match. Gunther, Walter, whatever you want to call him. The WWE have done a good job protecting him so far. You have Braun Breaker, who's in NXT right now and could potentially be built up to, main event stardom. I mean, I honestly thought he was going to lose the NXT title to Joe Gacy at In Your House, but that didn't happen. It looks as though he's probably going to enter a feud with Apollo Crews, who recently just returned to NXT. I'm all for Apollo getting the NXT title, but the question will be, will Braun Breaker be able to be built up to, kind of be Roman's challenger in the time that it will take? I mean, they would have to really rush it if they're going to do that. And, who knows? Because even Roman's kind of rumored to be hurt. He's working a part-time schedule. He got his elbow or shoulder hurt at WrestleMania, so who knows there. There's also Matt Riddle. Riddle just announced that he's going to be challenging Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank for the title, but that hasn't been made official just yet. Or how about a dark horse pick? I personally think that Sami Zayn would be a good world title contender. He's kind of having a storyline with the Bloodline right now. Maybe down the line he betrays the Bloodline and goes after Roman Reigns for the title. Maybe he wins Money in the Bank. And, originally that they want him to hold the Money in the Bank briefcase to kind of use as an insurance policy to keep the title in the Bloodline before eventually turning on Roman Reigns and cashing in anyways. I'm just spitballing ideas. Or they could go the obvious route of just having Cody Rhodes come back, win the Rumble, and then beat Roman at WrestleMania for the title. But there's a couple problems with that because, one, Roman Reigns versus The Rock is currently the top rumored match to happen at WrestleMania, especially since it's in Hollywood. And two, that would mean that we would have to see Roman Reigns walk in to a third straight WrestleMania, still the champion. I know a lot of people are liking Roman Reigns' new heel persona, but I'm honestly starting to get a little tired of it. And I'm starting to notice that a lot of things are starting to kind of slowly decline now that WWE are protecting Roman Reigns to the point where he's not really a convincing main event level undefeated monster. He's just sort of being protected as the golden calf of the WWE. And, it hasn't really worked in the past. I really think that if you want Roman Reigns to be effectively booed, hand him more than just DQ loss here and there. Maybe have him get pinned as a huge shock and actually kind of build more of a story around him than just kind of sitting in the background and letting the Usos do the work for him at the moment. There's a lot of things and uncertainty that's going to go on right now. But with Cody Rhodes hurt, WWE has to be in panic mode, and we'll have to see where it goes from there. But until next time, I hope you guys liked the video and bullhammer that subscribe button, because if you don't, Tyler's gonna break my kneecaps. Yeah, that's what we're going with in this video. Yeah, but you have a good night, guys. It's nice talking to you.